I'm Jay Thomas, and welcome back to Bald Tires, a proud member of the Saskatchewan Podcast Network. This is part 2 of an eclectic collection and other shenanigans with my guest, Chad Armbruster. Now, if you missed the first part of this podcast, you can find it in exactly the same spot that you found this one. All the major podcast players have got Bald Tires right there for you, all the episodes that we've done so far. Now, we talked about the start of Chad's career and what made him into a car guy last episode. Today, we're going to keep the conversation going and chat about some of Chad's favorite cars over the years, some of the incredible builds he's done, and trust me, there's lots of laughs coming up, so stick around. I'm Jay Thomas. Thanks for listening to Bald Tires, because when you make great memories, you make Bald Tires. The Saskatchewan Podcast Network is supported by Connexus. Connexus Credit Union is all about their members. Improving their financial well-being drives everything they do. And that's not just something that they say, it's a promise that's delivered by over 900 employees across Saskatchewan. Their employees are members too, and they've been there, so they're committed to making your money work for you. The banking industry needs to change, and Connexus is changing it for everyone, because Connexus cares. Visit connexus.ca to learn more. The Saskatchewan Podcast Network is also supported by Direct West. Are you a business owner looking for new avenues to promote your business? Direct West's digital billboards are a great opportunity to highlight a new product, new promotion, or anything else you'd like your customers to know about. You can get local expert marketing help for your business at directwest.com. All right, let's pick things up with Chad in the Shield Coating Shop. This is a kind of a strange question, but what kind of car guy would you call yourself? And I ask you that because I see kind of a rusty rat rod in this corner, and I see a pretty shiny, is it a Chev or GM truck? Which is it?
It's a Chev.
It's a Chev.
Yeah.
Over in that corner.
Yeah.
And I know you've got some other stuff at home.
Yeah.
So, or are you an everything guy?
I think the only thing I could say that I'm car, I'm truck, I'm like even van, and like everything,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I guess I'm Chevy, right?
Okay.
That's about as fine-tuned as I can get. Like, I have respect for the rest, you know, and I help and I want to learn more about the rest.
Yeah.
But yeah, deep down inside, it's heartbeat blue Chevrolet, that's for sure. But yeah, I do have respect for all of them.
Yeah.
You know, and a Cadillac is in my blood.
Well, yeah, you got
Done a
some caddies,
handful of
right?
Cadillacs, yeah.
So are they patinaed Cadillacs, or are we talking bright chrome, perfect paint Cadillacs?
Got both, actually.
Both,
Got
okay.
Mama in the perfect Cadillac,
Yep.
you know, the cherry red Cadillac. That's her daily driver.
Really?
And yeah, I got a 68 DeVille, and that one is nicknamed the Radillac.
Okay, yeah.
That's the... people call it the gobstopper because it's, you know, it looks like it's got every color on it, and it's got some rust and everything, but I've got it low. It's fun to just get in and drive, and with all this, you know, everybody's got shiny stuff and everything. I have more fun in this thing, and the more looks, the more thumbs up. You know, every time I come up with another vehicle or another design of changing something, it surprises me at, you know, I think, oh, I'm going to go so outrageous. Everybody's going to hate this. And it's going to be so much fun to have people come up and say, you know, why would you do that to such a blank car or a truck?
Yeah.
You know, and then to have it completely explode in my face and have people take photos of it and tag me on social media. And wow, what a great looking car. Like, do you not realize how rusty, like, this car is 50 plus years old and it was neglected for 49 of those years.
Yeah.
And now I'm just coming in and yeah, I've washed it, and, you know, but be careful, you don't get too close, you know, like the patina can hurt you on this car. It's not fake patina. That's
not fake.
real patina.
There are definitely, though, I would say a group of car guys and gals, not separating people, but like, there are the users, and there are what I would call the preservers.
Yes.
And I think you're a drive it, use it kind of guy, right?
I do, yeah. The shiny stuff, yeah, you just leave it at home in the garage and take it on ice cream trips, and because you think, oh God, I'm gonna have to clean the bugs off that.
Yeah.
Or, oh, you know, what if I scrape a wheel? Oh God, that would hurt my feelings. And,
Or somebody opens a door against mine and puts a ding into it.
Yeah. Can we park like 93 kilometers away and just, you know, how are you, babe? How are you with walking to the mall? You know, because if we leave now, we could likely get there by tomorrow.
But do you have a car like that you treat it that way? Like we're kind of making fun of that. But
likely my Camaro would be. That car
Like,
has always been.
your psyche.
Stay away from it. Don't It's in the container. It's safe.
Yeah.
If I move it, oh, watch out, careful, oh, don't do that. Heaven forbid you put a scratch on it, and coming to the realization that more damage has happened to that car in storage, and me being so cautious. Like, I can't remember the last time something bad happened to it outside. Like, I've had a light fall on it in storage. I've had a cable for an overhead door snap, and it came and took a chunk, it chipped the back. Like,
oh no.
Yeah, more stuff has happened to that poor car in safe storage than me driving it ever.
I guess we have to appreciate some of the guys and gals, though, that do take care of those cars like that.
Yep.
Because they're also the ones that are giving us a supply of amazing cars 50 and 60 and 70 years later.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there are these, I don't even mean barn finds where something's pushed into a barn and forgotten about.
Yeah.
There are cars that are coming out of garages now.
Yeah.
Somebody who passes away and he's been a one-owner car of a 69 Camaro or a first year Mustang or whatever.
Yeah.
And the thing's perfect, right?
Yeah.
So I guess we have to appreciate those people in some regard because
yeah.
they're preserving history in a way.
We get stuff to look at. Yeah,
right? I mean, so
in
there,
the future,
there is part of that. I think there's also, a lot of people who put so much money into a car that like it becomes undrivable.
Yeah.
Right, so there's probably you probably fall into that. I interviewed a great guy named Russ who said the same thing, where he started off building a car, but he overbuilt it so far that he just really couldn't even drive it.
Yeah,
because it's so perfect.
Yeah,
like you can't drive
your
it.
dollars, your hard-earned money that took it to make it look like that, and it's your vision. Like, I want it to look like blank, and I've built it.
Yeah,
this is it. It's in front of me. I don't need any more. That's what I wanted to see. I didn't buy it or build it so that I could please other people.
Yeah.
I've built it because this is what I wanted to see, and I have it. What more do I need? If I want to, go and take a look at it, it's right there. It's safe. It's clean, and I just go look at it.
Yeah.
And I'm pleased.
Yeah.
Perfect. Success.
I find myself in the middle of all this. Kind of a bit of all the camps. And what I mean is, I've got an old car, my 69 Buick, and it's really original, and I really want to preserve it, but I still can't help myself. I want to enjoy it. And I feel like it's a time machine, because in my case, it's a really original car. There's been no hot rodding done to it. There's nothing, besides, I don't know, Pertronics underneath the distributor cap.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that's not factory, right?
Yeah.
So when I drive it, I get to go back in time. I get to drive a car from 1969, the way it was meant to feel, or the way it felt then, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, I kind of, but I want to drive it.
Yeah.
But I also want to park it 93 kilometers away in the parking lot, Yeah. So I'm like,
Keep an eye on it.
I got to
Keep
kind of
an eye on
it's like a balancing act for me. Like, drive it enough so I can enjoy it, but I don't want to like mile the shit out of it, or I don't want to cream it, or have some jerk running. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Whatever. Something. Stay away from my car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll be the title of this episode. Stay away from my car.
Hey, it's like, kid, get off my lawn.
Yeah.
Hey, get away from my car.
So you've got a ton of cars. Give me some of your favorite ones you've owned. Like, let's talk about some of those.
Favorite ones I've owned.
Because there's got to be some ones that just stand out and go, oh man, I love that car.
Yeah.
Or I wish I wouldn't have got rid of it.
One of my first rigs trucks that I bought with intention of restoration was a manipulated 67 small window original short box 2-wheel drive truck. And somebody had done a whole bunch of Bondo to it. The front end was all one piece welded together.
Oh wow.
Like the headlights, the rad, everything was affixed to this assembly. So when you flip the front end forward, it was just an engine
and a frame.
Oh,
cool.
Yeah, so there was no rad in the way. There was everything was hidden. It was pretty neat, and it was it would have been a show vehicle at one time. And it in the back window it had Ain't Your Problem, I think, or Not Your Problem, I think, and it was hand painted on the window.
Cool.
And I was, oh, neat. So I bought the truck. I think I bought it for $300 or $400, and it was, it was damaged. It was a wreck, but it was a '67 Chevy short box factory.
Yep.
And I'd put an engine into it and done some burnouts with it, and then life changes, and I was like, I'm not selling the Camaro.
Yeah.
But this poor truck, I haven't touched it for a year. I think I sold it for $75, and I'm still trying to hunt that truck down. I would love to have that truck back, and it'd be worth a lot more now. Even destroyed, you just buy a cab now, right? You just whatever it needs for tin, you just buy it.
That's right.
So it would be an expensive build, but that would also be that unit that got away that I wish I would have kept.
Yeah.
And I've got a bit of a soft spot for small back windowed '67 Chevys for that. I've likely done 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 of them since, and even now I've got how many? I've just got one right now, but always try to have a '67 small window in the fleet just in case.
Have you built stuff just to flip it, or what's been your trend, I should say?
I guess I have built to make stuff better with the intention of not owning it. I don't really get into calling it a flip.
No, okay.
Because I'm still putting it together
the way you would do it.
The way I would do it.
For you.
Yeah,
right?
I will change some things because somebody might not like that as much as I do, but I don't really care because there's an ask for every seat.
Yep.
Sometimes most of the stuff, I don't do a whole bunch of advertising for sale of stuff.
Yeah.
But been in this city for a long time where somebody I'll just get a phone call out of the blue. Hey, I was talking with this person and they said you always have like a something, like I'm looking for one of these, and if I don't have it, I can usually get you in the right direction to get you into somebody's hands that has something like what you're looking for. But I'll definitely put something together the way I like it. And there's an ask for every seat.
But
somebody will find it.
Not with the intention of actually keeping it for forever, though, right? Like you built it not because you knew you weren't going to keep it for forever.
Yeah.
So it's have some fun with it, enjoy it, and then on to the next thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
And that to make that work, it's sweat equity. Like not very often. Like for a long time, I didn't rely on anything or anyone. I had to do it within my circle, trying to do fabric and, trying to put a windshield in a vehicle, painting something. I'll do it all. Don't worry about it.
It's pretty hard to make a whole pile of money doing a lot of that, right?
Yeah,
because we all know a lot of classic cars or builds, whatever you want to call it, whatever way you want to look at it.
Yeah.
They got more money into them than they're actually worth as a car. That happens most often, right?
Every time.
Every time.
Every time.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no getting out of that scenario. If you're not doing it yourself, it's
right.
You're going to be upside down in it before you even put fuel into it for the first time.
Unless you find some miracle deal, right?
Yeah.
Unless you get the car for nothing to start with, or whatever the case is. But
So
okay, give me another one. Give me another favorite.
I had put together. I bought from a farmer a '67 small window. It was a cab and chassis, just green. It was factory V8, factory manual 4-speed, had a PTO, everything on it.
PTO.
Yeah, and it was a farm truck, but low K, wasn't rusted out at all.
Really?
And I kept that kind of in my back pocket bet you I had it for 2 years, and I would start it like it didn't have a box or anything on it, but it was a running, driving dually, nice truck, long, kind of a weird looking long chassis. And I thought this thing would look neat if I put the semi wheels onto it. That's when the 22s and the 22.5s and the 24s were pretty big on trucks. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to build a set, and then being in the wheel industry, I made it, just that little bit different, where it looked a bit different, and it was built correctly, where I felt comfortable with it. And I was like, like if somebody were to do a big wheel conversion, this is how it has to be done. To make it safe, it's a lot of unsprung weight. People don't understand that, when you buy a vehicle and, the vehicle's built around an X, this area weighing so much. Well, you triple that and you don't compensate for it.
Uh-huh.
That's when things get dangerous. That's when classic vehicles are a threat on the roads. So yeah, I did a big wheel package, and then I bought another grain truck with a wooden box.
I remember this build, actually.
And I cut the wooden box all to shit and lowered it down over top of the chassis to make it look extremely low. And I had a friend in the wood industry. He's a fine, like a finished cabinet maker.
Oh, wow.
And, amazing with wood. And I said, what should we do in the bed of this grain box? Because that's what all that was left. It was just the sides. And I had to do something to cover all the suspension. And he's like, let's do herringbone, where, and I was like, okay, whatever. I don't know what that is, but let's do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it took 4 guys, a Saturday and a Sunday. And it was only 7.5 feet by 11 feet long, 4 people to do the bed of this truck. Like, who does this stuff, right? But yeah, it looked amazing when it was done. And I was like, wow, I didn't have much to do with it. Like, I held the tape measure a couple times.
Yeah.
And, learned a lot of, how to make wood look correct and make it look like you didn't really do anything, but there was a lot hidden.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. And yeah, so that truck, lowered, big wheels, patina paint. A friend of mine nicknamed it low carb because it was a grain truck, but
low
it was
carb.
low. So nicknamed it low carb. And like, it wasn't fancy by no means, just nice wheels, good stance, kind of a neat box, looked like a grain truck, but manipulated. So that was a fun truck. That was a fun build. I'd never seen anything like it.
What did it drive like, though? Like a grain truck?
Drove like a grain truck, yeah. The big wheels and tires and the shocks and suspension that I'd put onto it helped a lot.
Yeah.
But it was still a full-size, 1-ton dually Chev. So
with a manual transmission.
You betcha, yeah. So it would turn on a dime, but you'd owe it like $11.61 by the time you finally got it wheeled around. It was great, no fuel mileage, but it didn't matter. It was the look, and I was proud to stand back and go, wow, like that looks neat. That's in my head what I wanted to see.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Have you ever owned something that was totally out of your wheelhouse? You ever bought something, a European sports car? Like you sound like a Chevy guy or like a North American guy, right? Like that's a lot of what you've done.
Yeah, it was a BMW 3 Series, a 78 BMW 3 Series 2-door.
That's cool.
It was sitting in a front yard of a house under a snowbank, and I knew it was there, and I went and knocked on the door. It was the coldest day of the year, and I asked the lady, I was like, what's with the car under the snowbank? And for whatever, it was my ex-husband, whatever, and I was like, how much you want for it? She's like, you give me $50 for that car, it's yours.
You're kidding.
I was like, let me go get my shovel and my 50. So yeah, cold as hell day, bring my 4x4 and start digging this car out of the snowbank.
$50?
Yeah, for a white 2-door BMW.
You could have sold the friggin' wipers off that for $50.
Yeah. So it had dirty fuel in it, and I, at that time, of course, in the wheel and tire industry, so wheels and tires, and I think I sold the car for $1,200, and yeah, that was one of my biggest grossing vehicles that I'd ever put together. Like, I'm rich, I made $1,200, I sold it for $1,200, bought it for $75, but it was just, why I picked that day to knock on that door and talk to the lady.
Right.
And she must have just got off the phone with the ex and was pissed off at the world. So, yeah, get that car out of here. And, yeah, there was a void. It looked like an igloo when I pulled the car out.
Oh, my God.
I just dug the bumper out, wrapped the chain around the bumper, and just pulled it straight out. And, yeah, it left a void. For the rest of that winter, there was an igloo on that lady's front lawn.
Did you have to do a lot of work to it?
Well, yeah, it was an older BMW, I think 77 or 78, and it was a 5-speed, and the fuel system had rotted off of it, and they have dual fuel tanks in the back and a hose connecting the two.
Ooh, weird.
And, yeah, it was really goofy.
Do you even have metric tools, Chad? Or
yes.
Yeah?
Yeah. And it needed it for sure.
Yeah. So it must have been like pretty, but all that stuff is weird though. I mean, for somebody listening right now who's a BMW guy, they're used to all of it.
Yeah.
But especially back in the 70s and 80s, the European stuff, the Japanese stuff, it was all different than American stuff and set up differently.
Yeah,
and
it wasn't accepted quite yet.
The German stuff is strange. That's even kind of till today, there's different, things that they do, but I mean, it's
Yeah.
sort of getting more normalized, more and more kind of thing. But
Yeah.
there was some weird engineering, some over-engineering stuff that they did.
Yeah.
Okay, give me another favorite.
Another favorite would likely be, oh boy, another car that went across that got shown at SEMA
Okay.
was 33 Ford, built by a local builder here in town.
Yeah.
It was his personal 33rd vehicle.
Whoa.
Yeah. So he had built, been part of lots of cool cars that he had put together, and like he had kind of the neatest one that stood out was an anniversary, or a '67 Camaro, I believe, and it was a pace car for Indianapolis.
Cool. Yeah.
And houndstooth interior, really beautiful car, really neat car. 32 or 33 highboy Ford with an aluminum engine block that I helped polish, and then it came around to his 33rd vehicle, and it was a 33 Ford. Neat car, dry lakes. They had, it had an artist rendering, so we all saw what this car was going to look like when it was done. And same thing, got to deal a lot with the wheel and tire package on that. Lots of custom polishing, and then got to see that car unveiled again at the SEMA booth at the Ford booth at SEMA in Vegas, and got to be part, photos and. Once again, meet all the celebrities, and that car blew everybody's doors off because nobody was building stuff. So nobody could still touch that car. It's so beautiful, so timeless. Salt Lake's racer, so beautiful.
So we touched on some of these, but give me what's in your garage right now.
Right now, I've got my son's Camaro. Getting the engine swapped on that one, getting it ready.
Yep.
Got a 72 Oldsmobile with a 350 Rocket. Fairly calm. I did fuel injection on it, redid the interior. It had been, we did a paint job on it a few years ago. So that one is the turnkey ice cream car.
Yep.
Usually pretty clean. Wheels are usually pretty clean on it. So I know that if
the paint's shiny on that one.
If at any time I needed to grab a clean car,
Yeah.
I know that one. I can jump into that one and rip in it at any time.
Gotcha.
So,
Yeah.
So yeah, those ones are in the primary. That's the daily driver, daily reminder that A, I've got a car that I can drive, and B, I've got a driver that's going to be asking for a car soon. So I'm keeping it close and ready, and even to drop an hour with it, and bring the boy out and say, this is what we got to do. Here's this. How do you think this is going to go together? Because at 15, I had dropped a few engines into a few toys and seen what it looks like when you puke a connecting rod out of an oil pan. So I've been there, done that, saw it all. So
Couple of Cadillacs.
yeah, Mama's daily driver Cadillac, my 68, the big Radillac. I've got a
Hers is what year?
Hers is a 99
Oh, cool.
Eldorado. So the two-door V8. I'm a big V8 proponent.
North Star V8.
Yeah, you betcha. So I like having V8s and everything, just because
Betcha
it makes it easier for oil filters.
Bet you the gas station loves you too, hey?
Not too bad,
V8s
actually.
and everything?
There was a time where you didn't care, but now at $1.35 a liter,
Yeah.
and thus fuel injection, right? Well, I'll put some fuel injection on this one, and it makes an immediate difference. It's turnkey. It'll get the best mileage these old rigs will ever have.
Yeah.
So I got those ones sitting there playing around. I got a 50 Deluxe, so a 4-door Chev car.
Cool.
Yeah, that was a car that I wanted. I've driven old vehicles before, but they've always had, radial tires, or this has been changed, or now has disc brakes. I wanted to have a 19 blank and drive it as a 19 blank.
So you have a time machine then?
Exactly.
Like my car.
1950, it's still 6 volt. Or no, sorry. The only thing we did was 12 volt conversion.
Wow, that doesn't really change the experience.
No, but
right?
yeah, it's still got a generator for charger. The starter's still the same. Yes, it's got different headlights, but the interior is as ugly as it can be. It's a 2-foot car, like it's a standard, but you always got to have 1 foot ready to go to the other pedal because you got to hit the brake or you got to feather the gas a little bit.
And no power brakes.
No
power steering.
Negative.
3 on the tree.
3 on the tree.
Right.
Betcha. Yeah. Everybody's got to try that.
This is the
once in a while.
rather involved driver vehicle. Yeah.
Exactly. And same thing. Throw the kids into it. I put some seat covers onto it. And we drive it as a 1950. No, there's no signal lights. No, there's no seat belts. We die like men here.
We die like men here.
Yeah.
Are there even reverse lights on it? I don't think so.
It does.
Does it?
Yes, it does have a reverse light on it. Yeah.
I have to admit something. I'm a car guy. I've never driven a 3 on the tree vehicle yet. Never had the chance.
Oh yeah,
just
you
never
gotta wrap your head around it. It's interesting to have your hands on the steering wheel, and then to shift, you just have to move your hand a little bit and put it right back on the steering wheel.
Yeah, I like it.
Because it's 2 hands. There's no driving a 1950 Chevy car with 1 hand at 12 o'clock. Like, oh, this is easy. No, she's a 2-hander. You got to stay ahead of these things. You got to be alert. You
really surprised me because you are an everything guy. You've got an original car, a couple.
Yeah.
You've got some stuff that's a little modified. You've got something that's really shiny that you wouldn't want to scratch. You've got some stuff that's rusty and ugly. You've got some, it's all of it, you kind of fall in love with all of it, which is, you don't get that with every car person though, right?
Yeah.
Think about it. There are
and you're in a situation where you do, you can have the gambit of questions, like here's what I'm going to ask the next person that I have on. So yeah, you do get, I like this or I like that.
Well,
but
I just notice people,
the swath.
They have, you have a swath. A lot of people have just sort of a style they like, or a particular kind of, they're into trucks. They're not really into cars, they're into trucks. Or they're into cars, but they only like original stuff, and they really don't care for stuff that's modified. Yeah. Or there's guys that only are really into heavily modifying something, tubbing it out. Or there's guys that they're into what's, kind of over here, the rat rod thing. That's really their thing. They're really not into shiny paint and things like that, right? And chrome. You got it all.
Look at that.
You've got it all.
God, just hitting me at home here. Holy. Didn't realize who I was.
Are we missing anything else? There's another truck, right? You said there's 67.
Yeah, a 67 Chevy. That's kind of the yard truck. It's got a deck on the back, hydraulics.
Yeah.
So, I haul water with it. I do everything with it. So.
And then what's in here? Those are yours too?
Yeah. Yeah, that's more fleet. I've got, the rat rod is one of the fleet. And then I've got a modern Ford behind it. I'm starting to feel a little verklempt here. Starting to realize that you're hitting me on the head. Am I that readable? Oh no! I like everything. What's wrong with me?
You like everything? No, that's good. Ugh. That's amazing. I think that's like the ultimate car guy. I think because you can appreciate and like everything, or try it all, or what's the story with that Chevy back there? That orange. The big orange machine.
Oh, that's a monster. That truck was built here in Saskatoon, 2006, 2007.
Yeah.
Locally painted, locally tuned, locally built. That truck went through, 12 or 14 different shops to get it to that situation that it's in now, where it is an absolute monster. Big block, fuel injected. The dealer took care of the engine. A local transmission shop did the tranny. All the fuel injection was done by a local fuel injection guru. Paint was done at the dealership here at a dealership here in town.
Yeah.
It was the longer that I have it, and the longer that people see it, the more people will talk about it online, or I put the windshield in that truck in 2007, and there was no dash in it then, and wow, it sure is neat to see how many people it took to put the truck together, and then it went off grid for 15 years
Oh.
and was in a personal collection
Yeah.
and just sat and it got driven a couple times, but same thing, just an ice cream getter, lots of investment into it.
Yeah.
Me and Mama take it for ice cream. And
So that's what you do with it now too, right?
yeah,
It
pretty much.
It doesn't do any heavy lifting.
Yeah,
then.
and I've polished it now and done shield coatings to it, and we've ceramic coated the paint. So it's another one of those where, we've done everything to protect it, but don't drive it. Like, what's wrong with you?
So-
you don't drive these things now that you've done all this work to them. So
If you're looking for pictures of what we're talking about, jthomasauto.ca, and you're also going to see it up on Facebook and stuff like that. Well, I'll take some pictures of that Chevy truck. It's pretty cool.
okay, good.
Yeah. Okay, tell me about the rat rod over here. You got
Rat
a
rod.
Ford in amongst all the Chevy
Yeah,
stuff.
I
What changed your mind that way?
I think it came down to watching the rat rod, even the TV shows, the local guys building cool rat rods, and there's twin turbos in town and ratty, and I wanted to be part of that game. I'd build lots of wheels and been part of lots of those builds and help these guys out doing this stuff and sourcing parts and doing custom part polishing and blowers and I was so part of it, and I realized that I know maybe I'm kind of getting left out. Maybe this is a little bit more fun than everybody's making it seem like. So started the process, and I thought, if I'm, you got to build a Ford. It's got to be an old Ford Model A or a Model T. And I'd been part when Kelvin was still alive at the shop. We'd put together a T-bucket and kind of ran the same chassis, and it had a Cadillac engine in it. So, hit right on all the notes. Had wire wheels. It was a good rat rod.
Yeah.
And I thought, if I had to do it, I better do it Ford. And if I'm doing it Ford, I'm doing it all Ford.
Well,
and
you explained to me you're a symmetry kind of guy.
Yes.
That was the word you used.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna do a Ford, it's gonna have a Ford powertrain in it.
Yes, it's got to be right. It's got
Right.
to be all the way. And everybody knows that it's hard to do a Ford. The engines are tricky. It's a lot more work to do that. The transmissions are tricky, and the differentials are probably the easiest part of the whole program. And I thought, well, if I'm doing it, I got to wreck it all. So yeah, Ford flathead, Ford transmission, a Tremec 5-speed, and then a Ford 9-inch in the back.
Yep.
29 Model A Ford body. Everything was Ford. I couldn't slip up and throw a Chevy engine in it because, of course you put a Chevy in it and puffy chested all over the place. No, I hated myself the whole program, and I keep on saying that Ford is a 4-letter word that starts with F, because the whole time through the project, it's like, I have to do what now? Why do I have to do that? Well, it's because you're trying to do this, and then nobody makes that part, so I get to make it. And well, what about a clutch? Well, nobody does a flywheel. Okay, well, I'll make that.
Okay.
And mid plate, because nobody made an adapter to go from this transmission to this engine, so had to make an adapter plate for it. So every time I turned around, I was like, I know why people don't put Fords in Fords anymore, and you'll always find a Chevy underneath the hood of all these Ford pickups.
Well, there is so much of that aftermarket stuff that has just been created over the years for the good old Chevy 350, and then to mate it to anything else, or to put whatever carb you want or whatever intake you want, or there's just a billion aftermarket parts for that engine, right?
A billion and three.
Yeah.
I've counted.
But you're right. For Ford, it's not quite there, right?
Yeah. They've got it all, but is your engine pre-76, or was it 81 or newer, or was it the 3 years where they had this head on that engine, with this crank in order to have that intake with this plate for the left-hand starter and not the right.
There's two ways to look at that though, right?
Yeah.
Either you can say that Ford's a bit nuts for that, or you can say Chevy's a bit crazy for making the same thing for 50 years.
50 plus years.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah. The simplicity is there. I've got a whole new respect when I see a Ford vehicle with a Ford engine, or even a Ford engine in anything.
Yeah.
Because been there, done that. I know what that takes to get it there, and how for lots of stuff, you can't just go buy that part.
Yeah.
You got to find the guy, in the 80s who did this, who built that, and try to find one of those old pieces from that
to copy or to make one of, right? Except that everybody was doing this all happened in history with the Chevy stuff, just that it became an industry, right? So all these kind of custom made parts just became produced at some point.
Vic Edelbrock, how dare you make all these parts?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So that thing is like super light.
Yes, yeah, because it's a 2x4 chassis. It's bare bones. Like I just got the one seat in it, custom made floor pan for it. But from the outside, there's no fenders, there's no cowl or no hood to cover the cowl. Everything's exposed. Everything was kind of done on trying to do it as correctly as I think they would have done it in the 60s. And all I've got to refer to is the old Hot Rod magazines and seeing them like going to the big shows in the States, being part of the stuff in California with the Grand National Roadster show, the Las Vegas show for SEMA, doing a couple of the Lone Star Roundups in Texas, like being part of the genres all over. I haven't done a whole bunch of East Coast stuff, but there's not quite as much East Coast classic car, like maybe Miami getting into the donks and some of the higher end modern cars. Seeing it and trying to integrate it and take everything that I've learned over the years about classic cars and what not to do.
Well, you even included, and I pointed this out because I think it's awesome, because the thing to do in the 60s with because they weren't rat rods then, they were hot rods, right? They were shiny. They were shiny. They weren't rusty. They were shiny. But hot rods in the 60s was to use Buick brake drums, finned aluminum brake drums, right? Or you said the Lincoln ones, right?
Yeah, either.
Because those were the best brakes of the time.
Yeah, they were the biggest. It was, you had to stop these big land yachts somehow.
Yeah.
And you just put a bigger brake on it and made the wheels stick out so that you could put an even bigger brake on it. So
exactly.
Yeah, these young guys would grab that and it was a simple system, very simple bolt on, and it was aluminum, so it was lightweight, it was serviceable, and if they wanted to, instead of chrome plating stuff, just polish it and it's shiny. Done.
But you hit a set of brake rotors and calipers inside of these old brake drums.
Yeah. Like I said, from the side, I wanted it, like, other than the fairly modern wheels on it.
Yeah.
I wanted people to look at it and go, like, you can't tell that it's got an electric fan on it. You can't tell that it's got, a brand new 5-speed transmission. Like,
underneath of it.
Yeah. It's got an ugly shifter for that reason. It's got a big ugly fan shroud on the front for that reason.
Yep.
So trying to hide everything and still be able to show prowess, I guess, or to be proud of how they did it. And, I would love to see an old boy come up in with a cane and go like, what the hell have you done to this thing? Like, that was a beautiful 29 Model A, but I love what you did, right?
Yeah.
Everything's right on it. And then to show them, it's got disc brakes hiding in the front, and because, there's so much to look at that you're not going to see those things that I've tried to hide.
If you think about it, what they were doing at that time was taking the best performance parts they could get and stuff them into an old car.
Yeah.
And you're just doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And you're trying to find those parts and pieces now. Yeah.
Exactly. But I mean, like, that's why you're not just putting drum brakes on the front of this thing, Buick drum brakes. You put the calipers in there. But, it's essentially the same thing that they were trying to do back then, those guys.
Yeah.
There are a couple of hot rods driving around. And I don't remember the owner's name, but there is one in particular that's done it's a new build, but it was done completely the way it would have been in the 60s. So it has doesn't have electric fans.
Yeah.
It's got the same, V8, you've got the Ford V8 out of it, and the big aluminum brakes, but I mean, it's a little scary to drive, I think. You
betcha they are, Yeah, I'll be putting seatbelts in this stuff because, there is the possibility, right? I tried everything to get it right and to make sure it's safe and making sure rules are followed as much as possible. But it's still tough.
The Cadillac. Tell me a bit about that thing. Your Cadillac, the 60s.
The Rattalac?
The Rattalac, yeah.
That car, I'd kept my eye on it in a backyard and kind of like on the edge of a field. The grass was up to the mirrors on it, and you couldn't even see the hubcaps. Like I didn't even know if it had hubcaps on it, but it was a neighbor's place, an older gentleman, and I always kind of nudged him, why don't you pull that Cadillac out of the bush and get that thing running instead of driving these modern Chev trucks? And he'd kind of giggle, and it was always, well, come and get the damn thing, get it off the property then if you want it so damn bad. If you think I should drive it, I want to see you drive it. So, I'd bug the guy quite a bit, and 2 years goes by, 3 years goes by. And then I guess all of a sudden it gets serious where I was like, do you know what? That car should be saved. Like, even if it's just saved for the engine, because it's got a 472.
Yep.
And it's a Cadillac. And, I see the value in the car.
Yeah.
It might be rusty, but, there still could be stuff on it that might work for somebody, right? So same thing going with, this was summertime, so go with a lawnmower and cut all the tall grass around it and find out, it's still got the skirts on the back and it's still got all the hubcaps and, get the doors to finally open because they're all seized closed and the hinges are frozen and can't look under I don't even know if it's got an engine. He doesn't even know if it's got an engine. So finally get around to it and he's like, well, that thing will never run, and okay, whatever. So it took me, I think it took me about 3 or 4 hours just to simply get it out of the ground. Because it's a big car.
Yeah.
Like it's a 4-door, 19 and a half foot long.
5,000 pounds plus.
Cadillac.
Yeah.
So the tires had all sunk into the ground. The rims have sunk into the ground. And the frame had become part of the ground. It was just the twine, the twigs, the grass had all intertwined into everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took I had my big 4x4 hooked onto it. It was tugs and tugs and tugs and tugs. I ended up getting around to the other side of it thinking, maybe I'll try to pull it the other way, but finally got it broke free from the ground and got some air into the tires. The tires still hold, 10 or 15 pounds air.
Oh, really?
And then, loaded it up, took it to the house, and same thing. It was kind of a dare. I thought, I'm going to get this thing running and drive it to his house, like within a couple of days. So I spent about 4 or 5 hours on it that night, and fuel tank had drained, I don't know if somebody had pulled the fuel out of it, but looking inside the gas tank, it was clean, dry, no rust. So
what are the chances of that?
Who knows?
Because most of that
stuff, one and done for me.
Most of that stuff is pushed into the bush with a quarter tank, and it goes bad and turns to sludge and rusts the hell out. Yeah. Right.
So that was step one. Didn't have to put a fuel tank into it, so because I thought even if I had to, I'd just throw a jerry can in the trunk and drive. Right?
Yeah, right.
So got to check the fuel system. Fuel system was all good. Primed it. Wow, good. Pulled the line off the carb, pulled the carb off of it, tinkered a little bit with the carb, cleaned it up.
Yeah.
And boom, thing started. Yeah.
You're kidding.
Yeah, had a little bit of I poured some diesel down the throat and let it sit with the diesel. I pissed with the other stuff. So got it running and idling by itself within hours. So
Really?
Put a little extra air into the tires. Didn't have brakes or anything. Still couldn't open 3 out of 4 doors, but couldn't get the windows down. But I drove it past his house.
You're kidding.
And he's about 3 miles away from my place. So putted, gave him the honk. I didn't stop or anything because I couldn't, and I didn't know if it would keep running or not. So got it back to my place, and then I thought, do you know what? I look underneath and, it wasn't, the frame's in good shape. Like,
Really?
I don't know how it survived. It shouldn't have. It should have been rotted from the door handles down. The cab corner or the behind the wheels are rusty and gross.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's patina, perfect patina all over the whole car. And I got the windows, all power windows, power door locks, power seats.
Really? Did you get all the work?
Yeah, you betcha. I fixed a couple wires, pulled the seats out, threw Indian blankets over them, and kind of poor man upholstered it,
Yeah.
and hog ringed them on, so it looks like it's as ugly as it could be.
Yep.
Cut a whole bunch of spring out of it so it grinds and grunts. Even, you drive over top of anything and it's bottoming out. But it rides smooth. It's still a Cadillac. It's got oodles of power, 3-speed transmission, automatic. I haven't charged the air in it yet. I'm a little cautious on charging up the air conditioning.
How many buckets of mouse shit did you take out of it?
It wasn't hideous, actually, because I pulled the seats out, pulled the carpet out, and just pressure washed everything.
Really?
So, yeah, I think it was so easy for him to get in the rear quarters and get out.
They never bothered with the interior.
Yeah.
That's amazing, because that's the worst part about an old car.
Yeah.
Especially one as plush and fluffy, let's call it. Like a Cadillac, there was a lot of stuffing in those things, right?
Yes. Yeah.
That's like, it just gives you the kind of the heebie-jeebies.
Gross.
Yeah, gross.
Yeah.
What's
Santa, here we come.
Yeah, what's crawling around in this thing? How about the headliner? Did that have to come down, or is it okay?
No,
really?
All still original. A little bit of water damage in the back.
How the hell long was it sitting there?
He said since 91. So
Okay.
20 years.
20 years.
Till I pulled it out, yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And why?
So long ago, he doesn't even remember, where did this thing come from? And
Well, that's what I was going to ask is, what is it with rural Saskatchewan? Okay, here's my little spiel.
Here it comes.
Here it comes.
Yeah, you better watch it because I could resemble this remark.
Why do so many cars just get pushed into the bush?
I guess when you're done with them, you're done with them because, there was a time where, your old man, my old man, they would buy $25 cars. That's
guess.
the value of it. And when you were done with your $25, you weren't looking for it back. We put it over there, might steal something off it later.
Okay. I've always been curious just to the attitude. But
Yeah.
then this is a mystery car because it runs
Yeah.
well.
Why was it parked?
Why was it parked?
Yeah.
Why wasn't it just sold or... But then again, here you are, you got the car. It
Yeah.
probably would have ended up in a demo derby and
Yeah.
it'd be long gone, right?
And, went through the cubby hole and found the original the owner's name that bought the car new from
Really?
the dealership and handwritten in the owner's manual like they did.
Oh, cool.
And and did a little bit of homework and found the family. And here the lady that the first owner of that car had passed away like a year and a half before I made the call to find out, do you know this person? It was just a cold call.
Yeah.
And just for fun, hey, I wonder if this family's still around. And yeah, the lady, I said, well, I've got a Cadillac here that was owned by a Lucille. Oh yeah, that was Grandma. And I remember that car. Is it big, long, and green? I was like, yep, this is the car. So she's like, actually, Grandma just passed away, a year and a half ago.
Aw.
And I thought, well, what about the old man? Oh, no, he's been gone long before that. So, I thought it would have been kind of neat to roll into Grandma's driveway and, Mom would have known that was her old Cadillac,
Sure,
right?
for sure.
She would have been like, that's my car.
Yeah, no doubt.
Take it for a ride, Mom. I don't care if you're 98 and blind. Can't wreck anything. Go. Take it for a tour. I'll tell you left and right. It's the least I could do.
Brakes and gas, yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
So you... Brakes? Had no brakes, I'm assuming.
No, yeah, all the fluid had leaked out. It had a couple rotted lines from
Yeah.
sitting in the ground, so fixed those up.
But still
bled them.
Still the original drums.
You betcha,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
4-wheel drum and doctored those up. 4 new tires, cleaned up the rims a little bit, put the shitty old corroded hubcaps back on, threw the skirts back on it, and shocks. Shocks are for losers. Don't need those. That's what the balance is for.
That's right.
Let it roll.
Let it roll.
Yeah.
And that's have you had to do anything else to it? Or it's pretty much
not.
No.
No. Windshield wipers work.
And if we went to your house right now, it would just fire right up?
It cranks for a little bit.
Yeah.
To get, because I'm guessing it's leaking down in the carb.
Yep.
So yeah, you got to crank it for 10, 15 seconds, but oh yeah, she'll go. And yeah, everybody knows, Dad's going to want to take the Radillac, right? That's my go-to.
Is it really?
Oh yeah, the looks, and I'll drive it even if there's a bit of snow on the ground. It doesn't hurt my feelings. It doesn't hurt the car's feelings.
I would like to have an old car like that. Like,
Yeah.
I love my old car, but it is that car that I'm like, skip
I
the
better
snow.
not take it out.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'll be really honest.
Yeah.
You'll be mad at me, but I don't drive it when it rains. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
The windshield
heaven forbid.
wipers work great.
They never drove that car in the rain in 72, I promise.
Probably not.
You liar. That car got wet more than...
Okay, but it's only got 40,000 miles on it. I bet you it didn't get very wet.
Yeah,
For it to
like
be
it got damp. But yeah, like they didn't see winter.
No.
If it's still surviving, and like you say, it's original yet, right?
Right.
Only original once.
It's only original once. So that's where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna look after it, right?
Yes.
And I don't want to destroy it.
I'm gonna be the steward of her now.
Exactly.
Have you named it?
No.
What?
I haven't.
You shut your mouth. Blasphemy.
I don't know what to...
Before I see you again, you have to have a name for that car. Yep, and work on it.
Okay, what's the name for the 67 then?
For,
Radillac, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
how about
the Radillac?
How about this in here? The rat rod.
The
you can't
rat
just call
rod
it rat rod.
It has just been rat rod to date, but years ago when I started it's been about a 5-year project to get it to this stage. It started out Bad Penny. That was going to be the name.
Oh,
of
that's
it.
good.
Or Pence, Bad Pence,
because it's just copper.
Yeah,
on
exactly.
that
it
thing.
Looks like a dirty penny.
Yeah, it does actually.
So I was gonna go Bad Penny, but you can't put that on a plate comfortably.
Yeah.
And I like personalized plates to name the vehicles. So
I was gonna call the. Here's the story. So I found I would have got a set of custom plates, and I could have called it Sugar Cube.
Sugar Cube, white.
Okay, it's big and white like a
Yeah.
sugar cube.
Okay.
It's also from 1969, and the number one hit on the radio in 1969 was "Sugar Sugar" by the Archies.
How does that song go? I know you know it.
Oh, come on, shut up! I'm not singing it for you.
Come on, just
No.
a few.
Here's a clip right now inserted into the audio of "Sugar
Yeah,
Sugar,"
with
not
the-
me singing it.
Okay.
Of the Archies. Okay.
Oh, there it is.
The Archies.
Okay, now I know which song you're
Sugar
talking
da
about.
da 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 da. Yeah, okay, that's enough.
That's enough.
Yeah.
And that's all I needed. Now I know.
So that was the tie-in. That was the number one song of
Oh,
1969 was "Sugar Sugar," and I
Neat.
thought I was gonna get SGRCUBE or something
Yeah.
like that because you got 7 digits, right? Sugar
Yeah.
Cube. But the thing is, I found at one of the flea markets here, I found a set of plates that had never been used.
Oh,
So, okay,
nifty.
you know how this used to work, right? They'd make a run of plates every year, and whatever was left would go down to Regina and go to Ipsco. And they just get melted down.
Melt them.
So some guy there thought it'd be a good idea to keep some. And he did. He kept a lot of them. And whatever the story is, up until 2018, those plates never got opened. They were in the package, in the paper package, never opened.
Oh,
but it says on the outside what the plate number is. So
Yeah.
I picked 311933. I picked the plate number and opened it, and there's 2 brand new 1969 plates and the little War Amps key tags.
Yes.
That match. That used to have the little picture
Yeah.
of your license plate.
Beautiful.
Plus the order form you mail in to register your name, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So you're now allowed to display old plates on your car. So that was why I had it's their original plates. They've never been used. They're brand new. So anyways, I probably would have called it Sugar Cube, but
Yeah.
it's just the Buick now. I don't know.
So now, did you get a personalized plate of that number, and you just run the classic plates?
That's the rules.
Perfect.
That's the rules. You order
Yeah.
a new version, a new Saskatchewan
Yeah.
customized plate
Throw it
with that
in the
number.
trunk.
Throw it in the trunk, and then you put the other 2 on the actual
neat.
vehicle.
Yeah, perfect. So you're driving around legal on top of legal.
Not to
It's
mention,
so correct.
I'll bet you those auto scanners the police have don't pick up that old
No,
stuff.
negative. Not enough reflection.
I bet you even the speed cameras wouldn't notice.
Oh yeah, big dreaming over here, thinking your car is going to break the speed limit. That thing goes at the speed of smell.
Oh, hang
Don't
on.
give yourself too much.
Hang
credit.
on a sec, though. That's got a 278 rear end. So she's meant for speed.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
not
pulling the camber.
not pickup, but but you know what? 60 miles an hour, you dump it, and there is a little electronic kickdown in that TH400.
Yeah.
Down into second and scream route. It moves. It
Yeah.
moves passing. It really does. I'll bet I haven't gone about faster than
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Nice.
about that fast. But I'll bet you had to bury the speedometer,
Oh yeah.
and it goes to
that's-
120. It probably really would.
Betcha. Lay into it.
If you had a higher rear end, like a 373 or something like that,
Yeah.
it'd have a lot more spunk.
Donuts.
It would do donuts.
do-
I've never tried, and I'm not
Might
gonna
have to.
I'm not gonna
If
try.
I pull the Radillac out and you pull out Sugar Cube, we might have to do
Okay, one guarantee though. If I blow up my
kilometers.
If I blow up my transmission though, you're fixing it though.
For sure. We've got the hoist in the back. We'll pull her in. I'll phone the team. We'll have it lowered and dual exhaust before you know it.
No, dual exhaust's already on. Competition already did it for me.
Ooh,
sounds pretty good.
Schmancy.
Yeah, Flowmasters.
You rich guys in your fancy cars.
I saved up for 3 years for that exhaust.
Yeah, and every time you'd phone to get a revised quote, it's up another 25.
Shit.
Another 35.
God damn it! Yeah.
Damn you, inflation! Damn you to hell!
This has been a lot of fun, Chad. Thanks for joining me today.
No, that's great. I appreciate it. I love talking about myself. I love talking about business. I love talking about our industry.
Yeah.
You know, the more I can do it, you hope every time I see a little kid at a car show, you just, come on, kid, just find something that you like and you will be broke for your life. I promise, I hope you like Camaros. Are you a Mustang kid? What are you? You know, let's get them hooked. And get these kids broker than broke. So
even if you're a loser, even if you're a loser like me and you like land yachts or
exactly,
I don't know, 30s cars or who knows, but
yeah. Why do we never pick the really neat cars, right? Like same thing. My shiny one's an Oldsmobile. Like that's a uncle's fast car, right? It's not a Camaro. It's not a Trans Am. It's not a Mustang. It's a big-bodied Oldsmobile with power windows and power seats. Like it was just grandpa stuff. The crazy uncle had the big car.
The crazy uncle, yeah. And grandma had my Buick. So
yes, exactly.
I mean, for sure.
Thank you, grandma.
Yeah, thanks for taking care of it.
Couldn't have done it without you.
All right, well, for more like this, go to jthomasauto.ca. You're always going to hear a new episode every week. Bald Tires is a proud member of the Saskatchewan Podcast Network. And find pictures of what we talked about today on jthomasauto.ca, Facebook, and Instagram too. Thanks for listening to Bald Tires. I'm Jay Thomas.